All right, guys, so we are live now, so I'll just be editing out these first couple seconds, but we are live. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Let's do it.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is part 3. You are joining the FFD 260 family of redraft writers. This is the third part of our 4-part roundtables where we'll be talking about wide receivers and giving you the ranks and tiers so that you are prepared for all the redraft drafts you have coming up over the next month, getting yourself ready for the NFL season. So, with me tonight, we have 3 of the FFD 260 redraft writers. Fellas, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
My name's Mike Finelli. You can find me on Twitter at MikeSports22.
Rocco, that's you next.
Yeah. Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
At Siriaco Solar FF at Twitter. CIRIACOSOLER.
And you can find me, I'm Ben Sigler. You can find me at Sigs, CIGS 247.
And I am the at-home dad on Twitter at FF at home dad. Now, before we jump into the wide receivers, it's very important that we tell you guys about the latest giveaway at FFD 260 because it's one that ties in directly to this show. We have a signed Nuck jersey. It is DeAndre Hopkins, signed from one of our very good friends, Pristine Auction. Make sure you get onto Twitter. Follow us at FFD260. Go online at FFDynasty260.com and go to the giveaways page so that you can get all the information so that you can walk away with a beautiful signed DeAndre Hopkins jersey. And without further ado, we're going to jump into our wide receiver rankings. How this is going to work is we took all of our FFD 260 redraft rankings. We averaged them out to get consensus rankings. And then we broke them into tiers based on what their average ranks are. Now, that's going to help you out so that you can realize where tier breaks are and hopefully get the best bang for your buck when you're drafting. Fellas, we ready to go?
Let's hit it.
Yep, let's go.
All right. So our first tier is a real easy one for us to talk about because it's one person. It is Antonio Brown, AB84. All of us here, we all have him at number 1. He's just a dominant guy. That's why we all have him at number 1. We have one writer in the staff that has him at 2. So, yeah, anything you guys would really want to talk about with Antonio? Because I think he speaks for himself.
He pretty much does. He's had 3 straight years finishing as the top wide receiver in PPR scoring. He's consistently healthy, rarely misses games. He's consistent as a wide receiver 1, 64% of the time last year. There's no reason why he shouldn't be first overall.
100% agree. So without further ado, let's move into tier 2. Tier 2 is another set of guys, 2 guys coming in. Our signed jersey, DeAndre Hopkins at 2.4. and Odell Beckham right next to him at 2.5. Siggs, you actually got Hopkins the lowest. What's making you a little hesitant? And by lowest, you have him at 4.
Ooh.
So,
Well, when I look at the people that we have right in the top of the rankings here, the top 4 or 5, to me, I can kind of see them all right in, you could say, like 2, A, B, and C. And, okay, what do you do to get at least 1 or 2 of those guys delineated out where you're looking at a different, okay, this guy happens to have to be a number 2 and this guy happens to be a number 3, because it wouldn't be any fun if you just put 2s for all 3 of them or 2 of them. So when I was looking at this, I guess what made Nuke go down to number 4 for me was as much as Deshaun Watson is a last year for the run of 4 or 5 games, whatever it was, that he looks like a good quarterback. And I've been always one to say that Nuke is, for the most part, quarterback proof. But it was one of those things where, okay, if I stack them up against guys like Beckham and Thomas, who are right around the same vicinity, they have probably a little bit more stable quarterback situation. You never know if Watson is going to come back with his knee and possibly re-injure it sometime down the line. And besides that, I guess I trust that Beckham and Thomas will have their production maybe a little bit more consistent. Nothing wrong with Hopkins, but I guess I had to find something to kind of whittle down in the top 5 here, who gets to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I guess there's a little bit more of a chance that he might have some more down weeks than the other couple guys here. I still like him, though.
Yeah, I don't think anybody here doesn't like him because he's a shoo-in for top 5. And if Watson comes back, not 100% because of his knee, Hopkins was still a producer with guys like Savage throwing the ball. So can't really hate on him.
Savage is on the Saints now, though, but I believe.
Yeah. I mean, Mike and Rocco, you guys both have him at 2. You want to add in anything about your love for Hop there?
I mean, I think he has one of the safest target market shares out of any of these receivers that you see. I mean, Will Fuller, he's a deep threat. He's not going to command a large target share. You got Kiki Kuti. I don't know what to expect from him, and no real tight end of consequence.
Yeah, there's not much you can say against Hopkins. He had a 31.5% target share last year. Outside of Will Fuller and Lamar Miller, he doesn't have a ton of playmakers around him take away from his target share. Unless Brock Osweiler's throwing him the ball, he's been a number 1 receiver. And he's only missed 1 game in his entire career, so you don't have to worry about him getting hurt and being in and out in your lineup.
Yeah, I like it. So let's jump down to Odell. I have him at 2, mostly because Odell is just capable of taking everything to the house. I've watched it as a Cowboys fan. I watch it every year. It's, a 7-7 game up until Odell gets hit with a quick slant. Eli only has to throw the ball about 5 yards down the field, and Odell is just, boom, splits the safeties, gone, 70-yard touchdown. And it just makes me angry as a Cowboys fan, but as a fantasy owner, I love having Odell because he can take a week like that and just add to his targets. Anything you guys want to add to Odell?
Other than last year when he got hurt, he's finished as the top 7 receiver every other year in the league. So, like you said, he just needs that one play to take it to the house, and all of a sudden your score from doubles. The only reason I have him 3 behind Hopkins is because I'm a little worried how much does Barkley cut into his target share, which is only at 25% in 2016. But other than that, these top 3 guys are all the best of the best, the elite top tier.
I agree with you too about maybe being curious about Barkley maybe siphoning off some catches. But on the flip side of that, you got a new coach, coordinator, and when those guys come in, they should be thinking, what's going to make me look the best or the smartest? And it's, funneling your offense through Odell as long as he's on the field. Even the DB has, one arm kind of pinned down on him or is pulling a little bit. I mean, he only needs one arm or half a hand to catch anything that comes to him.
Yeah, and I don't expect, even though they have other weapons coming in there, if you look at Odell's stats since 2014 when he came into the league, he had 130 targets, 158 targets, 169 targets. And then obviously last year with the injury, he only played 4 games, but he still had 41 targets. Yeah. So that's with Ingram there. Granted, it was in the beginning of the season and Ingram really started coming on, but that's with Shepard there. Yes, Barkley possibly could take out some of those targets there. I am slightly concerned with his hamstring injury, but that's a talk for another show. But yeah, I mean, Odell, he's the man. He's going to do just great there. Let's jump down to Tier 3 now. Tier 3 is another 2-man group, but it's a clear separation here because these next set of guys, they go average rank of 5, whereas Hopkins and Beckham were at an average rank of 2. So the next two guys we have are Michael Thomas coming in at 5.1, and Keenan Allen coming in at 5.2. So neck and neck race here with them as well. Let's hear some love first. Siggs, you got Michael Thomas at 3, and then Mike, be ready for the follow-up because you got him at 6. So I want to hear you guys figure out, convince me where Michael Thomas should go.
Okay, well, if I have him at 3, so that means I had him just ahead of Nuke. And I kind of said before, preluded to the fact that I just believe in the New Orleans Saints offense. A little bit more consistency, probably. I've watched Mike Thomas in his couple years in the league, and I've had him in leagues. He's helped me win. I've played against him in leagues, and he's helped me lose. He's one of those guys. As much as any of these probably top 4 or 5 guys are, he's one of those guys where you just set it and forget it. You don't ever pull him out until the bye week. He's good, whether it's PPR or standard. Breeze, that's the guy. Probably the best target in New Orleans since Timmy Graham. Breeze just trusts him, and just like Odell in New York, I'll say the same thing. If they're smart, they just funnel this offense and give him as many catches and looks as he can.
Yeah, that's all valid points. The reason I have Thomas 6 is the last 2 years he's finished as a wide receiver 7 and 6 in PPR scoring. Between Kamara and the fact that they've added a handful of weapons this offseason, Cameron Meredith, who's an upgrade over Snead, Ben Watson is a slight upgrade over Fleener. They spent a 3rd-round pick on Traquan Smith, and they have the two-headed beast at running back. I worry about Thomas's touchdown production. He had 9 as a rookie, but then dropped to 5 last year. And while I expect Breeze to bounce back in the touchdowns somewhat this year, I'm not as confident Thomas can hit 9 touchdowns as I am with Keenan Allen, especially considering the fact that Hunter Henry is now out for the year. While I think Thomas is a safe bet wide receiver 1, I don't see him having the ability to finish top 3. That's why I have him behind Allen. Still both great number 1 receivers, just a little more upside with Allen.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you. I just think with Kamara coming on too, there seemed to be an ebb and a flow in the NFL. Like, okay, Kamara, teams are going to come in knowing they have to stop this guy, whether he's coming out of the backfield with a rush or coming out as catching a wheel route or some kind of swing pass or a screen. And I think you might have guys overcompensating. Sean Payton, Drew Brees, both smart enough to realize that they give a little nod to Thomas, and you overcompensate one way, and Thomas is going to be running down the sideline just like Kamara was last year. So, I again, any of these guys, if you're in there and you need your 3rd or 4th wide receiver, and you got a choice between these guys, you're really smiling like the butcher's dog. You kind of can't lose regardless, but we all kind of have our reasons to put one or down one.
Yeah, between these guys, you're really trying to find the slightest split hair to say one versus the other. Either way, you're walk away happy as the wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that even with 2 top 10 backs last year, Michael Thomas still put up over 100 catches for over 1,200 yards. Mark Ingram is suspended the first 4 games. That's going to help his target share go up a little bit. I am a little concerned about some of the new targets coming in, but I mean, Mike Thomas is absolutely the alpha in New Orleans.
Yeah, I can't disagree with what you guys are saying there. I actually think Michael Thomas is going to do all right. I have him at 4 on my list, mostly because I expect Drew Brees to go back to doing Drew Brees things where he puts up 30, 35 touchdowns, and Michael Thomas is going to get some positive regression on those touchdowns because he did have 100 catches, 1,200 yards, only 5 touchdowns. But with Breeze coming back to Breeze is, history, I can easily see Michael Thomas taking a little bit of a bump here because he was only, let's see, 3 points away from being the 4th best wide receiver last year in PPR. So 1 more touchdown, and he's the 4th best guy there. I can easily see that happening. Keenan Allen, we're a little bit closer on. Everybody has him between 4 and 6. Who wants to give me a little bit more info about Keenan Allen?
Well, I'll say first and foremost, I think this injury-prone label he's had put on him is unfair. Aside from the year where he tore his ACL, and we see that as common these days, and the year where he had the lacerated kidney where he missed 8 games, he's been relatively healthy, including last year where he played all 16 games. As he showed last year, he could be a PPR monster. 27.3 target share last year, and with Hunter Henry out this year, could even just go up from there. While Mike Williams could see some of Hunter Henry's red zone work, Allen could also pick off 1 or 2 of Henry's touchdowns from last year in the red zone.
Yeah, I think Keenan Allen stands to make hopefully another big season of 16 games, or at least 15. I mean, if you look at his history, in 2013 he played 15, 2014 he played 14. Then, like you mentioned, his 2 fluke years where injuries completely derailed him. But yeah, I could see Keenan Allen coming back. Phillip Rivers is going to throw the ball. The Chargers are going to throw the ball. That's what they do best there. And that's not to knock Melvin Gordon at all, because I think he's a good pass-catching back. But Keenan Allen is just the dominant wide receiver there, and I think he'll do just fine. Let's jump down to the next tier. So the next tier spans a few more positions here. A few more rankings. We get 4 guys in it, leading off with Davante Adams at 6. Rocco.
Yes, sir. Davante Adams. I mean, he has a great quarterback, but I want to see more. I want to see a little bit more. That's why I have him a little bit further down on his list than I saw somebody's, some of you guys' list. And he just hasn't jumped up into that tier of a Julio, AJ Green, or even a Fitz yet, honestly. I mean, I think he's definitely a touchdown monster. You're a little frozen there. But I'm not totally sold on him yet.
Well, we all can agree last year playing with Brett Hundley was horrible for the Packers. That offense looked as a shell of its old self. Yet, despite that, Adams finished the year as the wide receiver 8 on a points-per-game basis, averaging just under 16 again in PPR. He is the only player in the league to score double-digit receiving touchdowns the last 2 years. When Rodgers is healthy, so we take out last year, and then I think it was 2014, he also broke his collarbone. He has produced 4 top 9 receivers in the last 4 years, including twice a guy in the top 4. If Adams and Rodgers both stay healthy this year, and yes, there is some question marks with Adams and his concussion issues, if they can stay healthy, Adams is almost a certainty, a lock as a top 5 receiver. And for me, I know I want a piece of that Packers offense, and I'll take Adams every chance I get.
Fair.
I think we lost him. Well, that all may have been for nothing. Fucking shit computer.
Stay at home, Dad.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. When did he drop off?
Bro's up there at the beginning of the...
Yeah, I was talking and he froze, and I was like, oh, shit.
Damn.
Group chat, so.
Like, you're completely frozen.
Yeah. Oh, shit. You mentioned Julio before while we're waiting for him to get back in. Julio was very boomer bust. I mean, he has finished...
As a Julio owner, I can attest to this.
Oh, I stopped touching Julio this year. I had him 1 share last year, and it drove me out the fucking window, and I said, the hell with this. I'm not touching this year. He can win you a week. When he hits that 50-point game, you're going, thank you. But the problem is, only his wide receiver won 44% of the time last year, and 39% of the time outside the top 24. He'll win you games, and he'll lose you games. And the touchdowns also kind of concern me. But again, we're splitting hairs in this tier between him, Adams, Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I agree with you on Julio and you know, the ebb and the flow. You look at the year-end stats, I mean, they're always good. But it's that all of a sudden the week, wherever, to me, it's like value. Wherever you draft him at, you need to get that solid consistency. And a guy that you pick, you know, maybe as one of the top 3 receivers probably last year, and he scores 3 touchdowns, it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah. exactly.
That's killing you. Even if he produces most weeks, those couple weeks, you have to get #1 production at the position out of that guy.
Yeah, and he's only scored 8 or more touchdowns twice in his entire career, so it's not like last year was a total fluke. Yes, it was the second loss of his career outside the 1 year when he played 5 games. But, 6 or 7 is probably where the norm is for him. He's not going to hit, double-digit touchdowns, while all the guys ahead, Adams, Allen, the big three, they can get you 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And, of course, they go to add Ridley in the draft with the first-round pick, so, that's not exactly a boost of confidence. And then the contract situation. So.
I think it helps to have a legit target on the other side.
Well, Sanu played well last year, but I agree. What happened was 2 years ago, remember Taylor Gabriel in his big fade moment, he was playing great. Then Sanu took over that spot last year, and, he kind of disappeared in the offset. I think having all three will help, which is why I think Ryan is a good sleeper QB if you're streaming or in a 2 QB league. The inconsistency is really the thing. If you told me Julio's going to get 6 or 7 touchdowns and consistently be a top even 30 guy for the majority of the year, I can live with it. But the fact that 39% outside the top 24 is kind of annoying.
Yeah, he will definitely make you want to kick him in the nuts over and over again, like every other week.
Yeah.
Stay-at-home dad. He just said, tell everyone I'm restarting my computer. So
you should be throwing it out the window instead. But restart works too.
The quote was "shit computer."
Yeah.
I told him we're just BSing and kind of padding, filling time, and I said, just take your time and get it to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, Julio's one. There's a couple guys too where I'm like, I rank them high, and Julio's probably one of them where I just won't get them. I probably won't get Adams either because I live really close to Green Bay, and anyone that's a Packer, is just going to get drafted.
Yeah.
Higher. There's no, I have not because where I value him is a fair assumption or fair evaluation, but everyone else is just going to outbid me for him in auction leagues, and I'll like nominate him just to watch money fly out the window in my auction league, and then I got money left to get someone else.
Yeah.
Sounds like Saints players where I'm from.
Yeah, it's always the fun part playing in leagues where you have a lot of people from the home fan base. It's like, just throw that guy out there and watch the money go. Watch the money go.
Exactly.
And then later I was like, how do you know these good guys? Because you overspent for one guy. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first question in my new auction league is where everybody's from.
There you go. Okay, so we got a couple Saints guys, got a couple of Colts guys. Okay, I know who I'm throwing out early.
Yeah.
Something else interesting while I was looking at Allen's numbers over the last couple of years, when